nervous?
I'm nervous, yes.
What are you nervous about?
Posing, in lingerie. It's revealing. I'm not used to it.
I often call myself a photographer therapist instead of a photographer, and that's because there is definitely a therapeutic aspect to what I do here. I'm not gonna be like, oh, stand there and look sexy. That's too scary. I am not a therapist. I'm not guaranteeing that, but there is certainly, for the right woman who's open to the experience, something therapeutic that goes on here. Just the images are a souvenir of that experience. Turn your head toward the window. Beautiful. You're gonna look all the way down with your eyes.
When Jen Rosenbaum started Generations Photography in New York 8 years ago, she had no idea that her boutique boudoir photography business would grow into something much more than simply taking sexy pictures.
I think that people assume it's about sex. It's about women taking off their clothes and just being looked at as an object. For me, it's about women exploring their femininity and their unique femininity shamelessly.
Jen was a stay-at-home mom in 2008, dabbling with wedding photography, when she discovered she had a knack for making women feel comfortable in their own skin. When a friend suggested she tag along on a boudoir shoot, she found her calling. She wasted no time getting started, taking glamorous pictures of women in a makeshift studio she set up in her own bedroom.
There were a lot of naysayers at that point that said to me, you can't do that, it's not safe, it's not smart, it's stupid, why would you want people in your bed, what are you doing? And I just sort of tuned everything out and said, it doesn't matter, I don't care what you think, this is what I want and nothing is gonna stop me.
Her can-do attitude translated into a very savvy grassroots marketing campaign aimed at the influencers in her target market, newly engaged women planning their weddings.
Tell me about the cool girl principle.
The cool girl principle is pretty much how I started my business. I knew that I had to reach other people to talk about me. It's hard as a business owner to go out and talk about yourself. Nobody really wants to hear that. So how do I build an army almost of enthusiasts to talk about me? So I went online on a wedding board that I knew because I was on there when I was getting married.
A message board?
Yes, and this is before Facebook. So during that time, I ran a contest, and it didn't really matter who entered the contest, I'm not gonna lie, because I already knew the two cool girls were gonna win. Those are the girls that everybody looks up to, they wanna be like, they emulate. So those girls won, and part of the idea of the contest was I will take these pictures of you for free, but you have to post them and talk about me and tell everyone what a wonderful experience you had, which was of course the truth. And they went on and they did, and before I knew it, it was like a snowball effect.
Business was booming. Just 3 years after starting Generations, she had more clients than she could handle. She had outgrown her bedroom and rented a studio to do her shoots in. But her schedule was grueling, and this was not the business she wanted to run. She decided the time had come to dramatically restructure and raise prices.
I was working 7 days a week, 1 million hours a day, and I was not making as much money as I wanted. So I raised my prices quite dramatically, and I dropped the amount of clients that I could take to about 50 a year instead of 300. I definitely went from 300 clients to 0. In fact, I remember laying next to my husband one night. He was on the computer and I was on the computer, and I said to him, maybe my email form is broken. Can you fill out the email form and see if it's still working on my website? So he went and he filled out the email form, and of course my email goes blink. I was like, oh man, it's working.
It was a scary time, but she was determined to stick it out in order to carve out a work-life balance that allowed her to spend more time with her kids. After a few months of nail biting, things slowly started to pick up again.
It was definitely a pivotal moment for me, and I just had to keep saying to myself, this is what separates the men from the boys, so to speak, or the women from the girls. This is what separates true entrepreneurs and people that struggle through the tough times. This is what is going to make your business better.
The price change and extra time in her schedule allowed her to tackle one of the biggest issues with her business. She didn't want to hire other photographers, so her ability to make money taking pictures was limited. If she really wanted to grow revenue, she had to pursue other ideas. She expanded her business beyond just taking pictures to teaching boudoir workshops, creating how-to guides that people could purchase on her website, and eventually, it also led to sponsorships in the photo industry.
How is the split in your business right now, revenue-wise, from taking pictures to all the other stuff you do, the seminars and workshops and sponsorships?
Sure, it's about half and half right now. It's important for me to do this because I can't teach other people how to do it if I'm not actually doing it.
Right.
So that's number one. Number two, I enjoy it. It's why I got into the business in the first place. I enjoy still connecting with clients and doing all that work. But the other side of it and the other income, and some of it is passive income, is important to me because it allows me to have work-life balance and take a day off and play hooky with my kids.
With her schedule in check, Her singular focus on all things related to boudoir photography has paid off, making her the go-to person on the subject.
It certainly was not by design to become an expert in this field. I think because I specialized so early on, I was really one of very few photographers doing that. I was starting to gain recognition and notice from the photography industry, not just for my photography, but for my message and for the fact that it was all that I was doing.